Every time at the Galia show, as promised, we show you a glimpse of another Jewish community. This time it's Vienna. And why Vienna? Because in 2011, the Maccabiah will be in Europe, and HaKoach was founded in Vienna. Vienna has a lot of rights in sport. And another good reason, Theodor Herzl, the visionary of the Jewish state. He was born in Budapest, but grew most of his life in Vienna. Here is the Jewish Vienna.
I was born in Vienna, but I married an American girl, and that's why I know a little bit of English. My father was the chief rabbi of this community, and at the beginning I wanted to study mathematics, and I did for a year or two, and then I decided I also want to be a rabbi and work for the community. So I went to Israel, I studied there in yeshiva, and I finished my studies. I found a wife, I brought her to Vienna, and I've been here for 30 years already by now. It is very important for me as a rabbi that people who are not very Haredi or observant, they're also Jews. And sometimes they want a bar mitzvah, sometimes they want a wedding. They definitely don't want a funeral, but they also get it.
I'm studying now at the IDC, Herzliya, Rafael Recanati International School. I'm studying communications and media. I'm from Vienna, so I went to a Jewish school here, and I graduated here as well. I enjoyed it very, very much here, actually.
I study in the Rafael Recanati International School. I study communications in the second year, and it's pretty amazing. It's the best decision I've ever made, and I'm pretty happy there.
Well, I'm very Zionistic, and I really wanted to go to Israel, and I decided to go to Israel already a few years before I actually went, and I found a good university, so that's why I just said, okay, you know, I'll do it, and I go.
What's the most difficult thing in Israel?
The cab drivers are a bit, you know.
Herzl was thinking about Jewish cab drivers. He also thought about Jewish thieves. Aren't we a normal country? What's wrong with that?
In lots of countries there is different bias because, like for example, in Austria, you see all the time the Palestinians are the good ones and the Israelis are the bad ones. Israel is a country just of war and just of panic and to be scared. It's not true. You can live there a normal life in peace and be happy there. And I have even Palestinian friends, so I don't really think that Palestinians are, like, for example, the Western world is showing them. They're normal people like we are. They also want just peace.
Are you worried about the number of assimilation worldwide of world Jewry, and is it just as much in Austria?
Of course I'm worried, and I think education is one of the best ways to combat it, but unfortunately it will never be totally, we will not get an absolute zero of assimilation, and you have to try.
What is the role of the Austrian community in which Herzl spent most of his life in commemorating the 150th birthday of Herzl?
His idea of political Zionism to really start to work, not only to go back to Israel, but to try to create a state.
I'm so happy that we have our land now, the land of the Jews, and that we can live, well, safety. I feel good there, I feel home, and I think that was the purpose of having a land of the Jews.
I understand there is a Maccabiah coming up in Europe next year. How does the Austrian Jews prepare for it, being with their history with HaKoach Vienna?
This is not instead of the Israeli Maccabiah, this is the European Maccabiah. It wasn't so easy to convince them to do it in Vienna. After we convinced them, we realized it's not going to be so easy to do it. It's a very, very big and hard technical thing, but in the end it's not going to be a technical thing. The technicalities is just to make sure they have a place to sleep and they have food. But it's going to be a festival of Jewish spirit, not just Jewish bodies.
Rabbi, this is Erev Shabbat, and we would like to get your blessing for the Jewish people in Israel.
I want to wish you all Shabbat Shalom, and peace should not be just on Shabbat. We should come closer to peace in the Middle East, but this is a little bit hard. We won't do that today.
Israel is a normal country, part of the community of the world, but it's the homeland of the Jewish people worldwide, and it will stay like this forever.